Okay, today we are talking about the order of operations, and I'm going to give you a problem, and I'm going to say I give you 2 times 6 plus 6 divided by 3. Go ahead and solve this problem, find the answer to it, push pause first, and then come back and let's see how your answer compares to mine. Okay, so I could solve this a few different ways. I could start with 2 times 6, get 12, bring down the rest of my problem, plus 6 divided by 3. Let's say I'm going to solve this left to right. Then I'll have 12 times 6, which is 18, divided by 3. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. Well, is that the correct answer? What if I do it another way? What if I say, well, let's add first. 6 plus 6 is 12. And then I'm going to go ahead and write down all my other operations here in this expression. And then I go ahead and multiply. 2 times 12 is 24, divided by 3. Can't forget the rest of this problem. Well, that gets me 8. Well, that's a different answer. Okay. What if I solve it a different way? Let's say I go ahead and I divide first. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now bring the rest of my problem down here. I can't forget the rest of it. And then I say, well, let's go ahead and add 2 plus 6, 8. And bring the rest down. And 2 times 8 is, well, 16. Yet another answer. Guess what? All of these answers are wrong because of the order of operations. Okay, there is an order to the operations and how you solve problems like this. If you can remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That will help you. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The P is the first thing you do, which is parentheses. I didn't have any parentheses in my problem. If I did, I would have to do the operations in there first. Number 2, second thing to do. E, exponents. Exponents are something like 5 to the second power, meaning 5 times 5. Now, I didn't have any exponents in that problem either, so I don't do those. Then I have my dear, or M and D. This is multiplication and division left to right. Multiplication is not more important than division, nor is division more important than multiplication. It is solved left to right in the problem, whichever you come to first. And then we have Aunt Sally, A and S. Last thing you do is add or subtract left to right again. Addition is not more important than subtraction. Whichever you come to first, that is what you do first. So let's go back to our original problem and solve it according to the order of operations. Please, parentheses, I don't have any. Excuse, exponents, I don't have any of that. My dear, multiplication and division left to right. So if I look left to right at my problem, the first thing I see is the multiplication sign. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply first. 2 times 6 is 12. Bring the rest down, one step at a time. Now, multiplication and division left to right, so I keep on looking left to right. Well, my next thing that I have is division. So I'm going to divide next. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Bring the rest of the problem down. 12 plus 2 is 14. This is the correct answer to this problem, and if you got that, good for you. Now if you look in your book on page 36, it gives you some more examples. It says evaluate 14 plus 8 times 6. Well, if I add first, I'll get 132. If I multiply first, I get 62. Big difference. If you use the order of operations, you know that you would multiply first. If you didn't write down my order of operations before, you may want to rewind it and copy those down in your notes, or copy this down here. We have the same thing. Mathematicians use a set of rules known as order of operations, the order in which to perform operations in calculations. So they say the same thing. 1, compute inside parentheses. That means solve the problems in the parentheses. Evaluate the terms with exponents. Do your exponents next. 3, multiply and divide left to right. Add and subtract left to right. Okay, let's look at the other examples they show for you on page 36. They have evaluate 20 plus, in parentheses, 30 minus 10 divided by 5. Using the order of operations, you want to use the parentheses or solve for the parentheses first. So they have it in red. They solve for that, which gives them the 20. But don't forget they bring down the rest of the problem, 20 plus, and this divided by 5. We want to keep it all in there. So then we have an addition and division operation. Well, the next thing is to divide. So 20 divided by 5 would give you the 4. And don't forget to bring down that 20 plus. We have 20 plus 4, which will give us 24. Okay, the next problem. It says evaluate 4 squared, or 4 to the second power, minus, in parentheses, 4 plus 6 divided by 2. Order of operations, the first thing you're going to do are the parentheses. So they go ahead and add 4 plus 6, which gets them the 10, and they bring the rest of the problem down. They don't leave anything behind. Next thing we have here, 4 squared minus 10 divided by 2. First thing we have to do are our exponents. This means 4 times itself 2 times, or 4 times 4, which would be 16. So you have the 16. Bring the rest of the problem down. They have 16 minus 10 divided by 2. So we have subtraction and division. Well, we always divide before we subtract, so this is the next step. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Bring it down, bring down the 16 minus 5, and we're left with 11. Okay, turn to page 37, or look at 37 in the guided practice, and I'm going to go through 1 through 4. This is number 1, and solve them. But first, pause me on each one before I solve it, and you try and solve it and see if you get it correct. So go ahead and pause me now. Okay, 36 divided by 6 plus 6. Order of operation would say division before addition. So I would go ahead and divide 36 by 6, which would give me 6. Bring down this plus 6, and I would get 12 as my answer. Number 2 in your book, Guided Practice, is 36 divided by, in parentheses, 6 plus 6. Well, again, order of operation says I need to do my parentheses first. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P, first thing, parentheses. So we're going to go ahead and add. 6 plus 6 is 12. Bring down the rest of your expression, and we have 36 divided by 12. 12, 26, 12, 24, 36. 12 goes into 36 3 times, so your answer is 3. Number 3. Remember, pause me. 24 divided by, in parentheses, 4 plus 8. Pause and solve this, plus 2. Alright, when you come back, you'll see that first thing you do are your parentheses. 4 plus 8 is 12. Bring down the rest of your problems. Don't forget this little plus 2 over here, or the 24 and the divided by. So now I have 24 divided by 12 plus 2. Order of operations, I'm going to divide, multiply or divide left to right, whichever comes first. In this case I only have division, so I'm going to divide. 24 divided by 12 goes into it 2 times. Plus 2 is then 4. Let's look at number 4. I have 48 divided by, in parentheses, 4 plus 8 plus 2 to the second power, or 2 squared. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses first. 4 plus 8 would give me 12. Now I have to bring the rest of the problem down. 48 divided by, and plus my 2 squared. Excuse e exponents. This would be my exponent, 2 squared, which means 2 times itself, 2 times. Okay, I'm using that little dot to show multiplication. 2 times 2 would be 4. Bring down the rest of my problem. So now I have 48 divided by 12 plus 4. Well, the next step is division. 12 goes into 48 4 times. Add this plus 4, and the answer is 8. Hopefully you got some of those. Okay. Now, for homework tonight, I'd like you to solve number 5, 24 divided by 4 plus 8 plus 2. Number 6, you want to give yourself quite a bit of room under these, so don't write them like I am. 48 divided by 4 plus 8 plus 2 squared, and this is in your book. And then go ahead and try number 7. 80 divided by 8 times 5 plus 4. Now, this problem is different because it says, hey, I'm going to tell you what this equals. It equals 90, and in order for this to equal 90, there needs to be some parentheses somewhere. Where do the parentheses need to be in this expression for the answer to be 90? So play with it. You might have to work it a couple different ways. And bring these to class along with a question as usual. See you tomorrow.